What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where right now we're going to be talking about Chris Ballard. Okay, and I'm somebody who, just being straight up, has been a bit of a Chris Ballard apologist in the past. And I did have a video earlier this season, maybe I think it might have been late off season, maybe, where I had a video talking about Chris Ballard and how I was starting to, 1 foot out the door on Chris Ballard, right? Somebody that I think he's put a lot of talent on this team, and at least I thought so. And as time goes, man, it just becomes more and more apparent that this team just isn't what I thought it was. I think there's a lot of individual talent on this team, right? When you think about the guys that we have on the offensive line, Anthony Richardson and the talent that he possesses, he's just got to, of course, hone in his skills. You have Jonathan Taylor on this team. You have Pitt. You have Josh Downs, who's incredible. You have Alec Pierce, who's just now starting to see, some consistency in his career, and not really consistency, but his numbers starting to pick up now that we can actually use them, have quarterbacks that can actually get them the ball down the field in the different ways that we use them instead of go routes, right? So you have all that talent on offense, and then you look at the defense. I mean, every level has talent on it, right? DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed. You just drafted Latu just to not play him, right? We have a defensive coordinator that just doesn't play his best 11 players, and Latu's not playing nearly enough this season, right? Dio coming into his own. Quiddy, who's been here for far too long. Julian Blackman, Nick Cross, Jalen Jones. There's so much talent on this team, but this just isn't a good team. And that's where I'm at. This very clearly is not a good team. I've tried to defend it for so long because I'm a fan. I want to see us win games, and I want to see good things happen. Now, I'm recording this video. It is currently 10:49 a.m. There's going to be another video that I put out before this. Not sure what time I'm going to put this video out, but it is trade deadline day. And the Colts would be smart to sell guys. I don't know what time I'm putting this out, but there's so many guys I'd like to sell on. Right, get Ryan Kelly off the team, Quiddy Pay, Braden Smith. There are guys that I think we should be selling off if we possibly can. Just get whatever we can from these guys. Now, could we get compensatory picks for guys? And how does that whole situation work with guys that were drafted by you that leave? What is a compensatory? I don't know the compensatory pick situation completely, but I do know that if you can get something back for any of these guys, screw it. Send them all to the Chiefs and the Ravens and take what they can give you. Whatever, just get what you can back for guys that, in my opinion, just don't hold value for us anymore. We need to build for the future. We need to get as much cap as possible coming up. I think we have $54 million in cap next year, and we have a bunch of guys that are going to be free agents. Dio needs to be re-signed. Okay, whatever the case is, Dio needs to be re-signed, and we're going to go through that list probably maybe Thursday. Probably not tomorrow because I have to work my day job for about 12 hours. So ideally, we're going to have a video about the free agents coming up here in a couple days. But again, this is really about Chris Ballard and the team that he's built, and it's just not good enough, man. Like it's mostly the same team that we had back when Phillip Rivers was here. Obviously a little different, but a lot of the same pieces. Thanks to the support on this channel, we now have our first partnership with Green Gridiron. And as you can see here on the site, you can go through, they have helmets for both pro and college. You can go through, look at helmets and build your own. You can go through and get mini helmets and be able to get your own mini helmet and build it the way you want. Now, you can also go ahead and search, as we do here, Colts helmets, looking through the Colts helmets, and they have all the different options, many different options, a speed helmet, different Rydell's, regular helmets. They also have the new black helmets that the Colts wear for the Indiana Knights jerseys, and there's also this other style that is black with the blue horseshoe on it. Matte black, looks really good. Whether you want something for yourself or for somebody you love, you can get it on Green Gridiron. Okay, and the one that I started with a mini helmet, and this one coming with the visor on it. And I might might even one day go ahead and buy a blue face mask just to put on it. Who knows? I might customize this thing myself, get a different chin strap. You can get chin straps, whatever you want. You can build it how you want it. And getting one of these helmets, this thing looks sick. I know it's the mini version. You're used to seeing this one. We're going to kick this one off, and we'll probably still have that one in the videos, but Green Gridiron, that is the new partnership on the channel. Again, I appreciate you guys so much for all the support that you guys show here. Obviously, Lion Syndicate, Derek over there, helping out get the partnership here. He's a leader of the syndicate, but here we have, again, really nice helmet. Give you guys a good view here of this, the blue visor on the front. I mean, this thing is sick, man. Really enjoy this. I plan to get more as time goes on through Green Gridiron. Hope to be able to do a giveaway at some point for Green Gridiron. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, have those notifications turned on. Again, I appreciate you guys so much for all your continued support. Now let's get back to the video. And obviously that team wins 11 games, almost beats Buffalo in Buffalo. Since then, it's just been so up and down. This team has not taken the next step. This team, I feel like this team has a bunch of dogs, but we have a defensive coordinator that doesn't let them off the leash. And of course, lately defense has performed better, and I feel like we're in a place where Gus Bradley's going to keep his job, which is unfortunate. I'd just rather have a defensive coordinator that has different philosophies, right, that'll actually play his best 11 for most of the game, that'll attack more. I hope we get a new defensive coordinator, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately. But this team, we never rebuilt. We went and got Anthony Richardson, tried to reload and tried to win games. And I'm finally at a spot where at some point you have to rebuild it. At some point you have to rebuild it. Now we're going to be in Anthony Richardson's third year next season talking about, hey, let's rebuild it, right? Anthony Richardson gets hurt in his first season, so the developmental season gets pushed back. And it's like at some point, like we're going to just continue losing this season. We're going to continue losing next season because we're not going to rebuild it. It's time for a new philosophy in the front office. And I think you get a new philosophy in the front office, and that can trickle down, right? And then get a new philosophy in the defense, right? Overhaul the entire defense. Charlie Partridge as defensive line coach obviously is not working. The defensive line is absolute garbage if you don't have DeForest Buckner, right? We went 2 games without sacks because DeForest Buckner wasn't there. Obviously, it's been better over the last couple of games because DeForest Buckner is back. So when you look at the team, obviously you have to look at the guy that constructs the team, and I am all the way out on Chris Ballard. I'm all the way out. Chris Ballard has to be replaced. And do you really want to hire somebody, right? Do you elevate somebody behind Chris Ballard, right? I know a lot of people like Ed Dodds. Do you put him in there? I feel like Chris Ballard and the team around Chris Ballard in the front office, like, I'm just afraid they'll have the same philosophies. Like, we need somebody who's going to be aggressive. The Chiefs have back-to-back Super Bowls. They went and got DeAndre Hopkins and Josh Uche. Like, the Ravens go out and get better by getting Deontay Johnson. They already have a stacked team, especially on the offense. Like, at what point do we have a different philosophy in the front office? We need to do something differently. We cannot continue, which is what people have been saying for a long time. So I hold the L on this one. I've tried to defend Chris Ballard in the past. I have. So I'm holding the L on this one. Chris Ballard's got to go. I don't know. Maybe the rest of the front office has to go. I don't know all of them in depth. I don't know if they have different philosophies. Obviously, while Chris Ballard's there, they're going to echo the same sentiments as Chris Ballard because he's the guy in the front office. But I'm curious what we would do after that, and who would we bring in as GM? I have no idea. But Chris Ballard clearly is not getting the job done. There's a lot of individual talent on this team, but we don't have enough dogs, right? We draft these high character guys, and that's cool, but there's too many nice guys. This is football, man. Like, I feel like we're at a point where even Quentin Nelson is too nice. drafted as somebody who had a nasty streak, drafted as somebody who would run through somebody's face, who would throw their face through the ground. And he's just not that guy anymore. And we need a complete attitude overhaul on this team. So you can have all these nice guys. That's the one thing I wish we would have drafted George Pickens for, because he got that dog in him. He's not going to let somebody take it out. Just that little bit of a nasty streak is nice, right? Like Michael Pittman Jr. has that dog in him, and I feel like over time he's losing it because we're so worried in the building about all this, all drafting for character. And listen, the kicking the stigma thing is great. And it's nice, I'm somebody who's dealt with depression. I get it, kicking the stigma and talking about it, but man, I just feel like this organization is too soft. We're too soft to actually go win anything on a serious level, and that starts with Chris Ballard, right? He's the one that and that maybe that's a bad take. Maybe I'm going to get killed for that take. I just feel like we're too soft. I feel like that has to change. You have to bring some guys in that are a little questionable. You have to have a couple of those guys. You just do. That's my thoughts on it. And I'm not going to sit here and condemn an entire generation. I know some people say, this entire generation's too soft. I don't want to go that far. But man, we need dogs on this team. We need dogs, and we need to take the dogs off the leash. What we put on the field week after week isn't good enough, right? There was even something, I can't remember what it was, and it was something quick, but just something I noticed. It was like Josh Downs, maybe, that had run into somebody. I don't know. It was somebody on the team, maybe blocked somebody. Or something. But it was like he, as the defender was going to the ground, he was like putting his arms around him to like lessen his blow on the ground. What are you doing? Let him, if he hurts his tailbone on the ground, who cares? Pop him and make him put his ass on the ground. It's that simple. Like, be mean to the other team. You don't have to come out and be nice. You're allowed to be mean to the other team. That's why I like Zaire Franklin. I want everybody on the team to be Zaire Franklin. He talks trash to the other team, and we're at a point where Zaire Franklin is even trying to be different. He's trying not to talk trash. He's talked about it. Trying not to talk trash. Like, no, Zaire, we need you to be that. We need you to get the rest of the team to have that mindset. Talk trash, man. Get in the other team's face. Act like you want to kill the other guys. It's football, dude. You're not supposed to be nice. You want to be nice, you're going to keep losing. And again, it starts at the top with Chris Ballard. The team that he's built, all these high character guys. I keep coming back to high character. Stop drafting high character guys. Draft guys with talent. Draft guys that are going to come and be absolute dogs. You don't have to worry about getting them up on Sunday. Okay, you need more Zaire Franklins on this team. Okay, so that's my take. Again, I'm all the way out on Chris Ballard. I know a lot of people already have been, but we're just at a point where something's got to give. I do think Shane is the guy going forward. I think he's got to figure some stuff out, and he doesn't have a long leash. I'm just going to say that. Shane doesn't have a long leash. After year one, he did, right? Winning 9 games largely with Gardner Minshew as your quarterback and the team that he had, which was mostly the same team from 2022 when they won 4 games. So Shane, had a long leash coming into 2024, and it's just not the case anymore. Right, his lease is shortened up, and going forward, we'll continue to monitor that situation. He's got to be better as a play caller. He's got to be better as a head coach. It's kind of on him to really bring that dog out in the team, so he's not completely off the hook here. But it does start with Chris Ballard. You got to bring in absolute dogs. You got to have a different philosophy at some point. You become more aggressive. You think you got your quarterback of the future, you got to be more aggressive in the offseason. You got to bring guys in. You got to be more aggressive in the trade market. And he's just not, right? And what he says, you can't just go out and get a veteran player or two, and all of a sudden you're going to win a Super Bowl. Well, yeah, that actually is how that works sometimes. You go out and get a couple of guys, all of a sudden your team takes a shift in the right direction. That's just how it works. It's just how it goes. You get better talent on the team, you get dogs on the team, you're going to get better. So I'm all the way out on Chris Ballard. Of course, want to know what your guys' thoughts are. I'm sure you're going to let me know. A lot of people have a lot of thoughts on Chris Ballard, so let me know where you stand, but I'm all the way out. We need to overhaul the front office in the offseason, get some people who are actually going to make this team better and actually try to build this team to win a Super Bowl. I'm tired of mediocrity. Chris Ballard's not getting the job done, and we need somebody who will. So that's where I stand. I'd love to know where you stand. You let me know down in the comments section. Of course, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Going to get as much content to you guys as possibly can. And of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.